All right, here are some of my thoughts. Um, I counted. I took your photos and I just counted blocks as best I could. It was kind of hard to see some of the lines to count how many blocks there were between like pilasters, etc. I don't think it's grossly out of whack, but there's probably a few assumptions that I made that are definitely wrong. I didn't spend too much time on that, and I count. These I'm assuming are 2 feet apart, and so even those I'm assuming like there's one space, two, three, four, five, and then a half space at the end. But again, that's an assumption. So here's a couple thoughts that I have. Um, And what I would like to do is tighten this all up with actual dimensions so that it's sure. Um, so you got all this cool palette stuff going on this wall. Um, I think for balance, since you have it on this wall, I think it would be nice to put framing between these pilasters and put this same treatment on this back wall. So you basically have it on the back wall and on the front wall. Those are like two accent walls. Um, I'm thinking that the placement of this wall, I'm showing this just as a 2 by 10 right now. I don't know if you thought it was going to be wider or not, but for now, this is
It's 11 o'clock.
what I'm showing. It's a 2 by 10 wall. I think you should basically, I found the center line of this room based on the center of these two windows. So this wall is equal distance to the center as this wall is. So that's where I think the placement of this should be, even though the stairs might be a little bit longer than they need to be or whatever. Also, though, I would like to find out where your grid is on your ceiling. This just represents the ceiling. So again, it looked like your one uh, ceiling floor joist from above is lined up on the corner of that, and assuming 2 foot spacing, I went 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then it looked like a half a space at the end, but I'd like to confirm that. And then I use this. Looks like it's almost in the center of the room, so I just use that as a center left to right. So if you were going to do a grid with your panels, your drop down panels or whatever, I'd probably have a like a soffit all the way around. It's a little bit uneven, but it's equal on this side, on the sides, and on the front and rear. So that's the thought there. These are just directional up and down lights. So you got a light just washing the wall up and down. Um, I have a 15-foot opening. It's uneven on both ends. It's even from the inside as far as what the reveal is here and what the reveal is there. But again, it was based on the center line and just, you didn't want to have, I don't think you'd want to have just a little 1 foot wing wall. I don't think that'd be big enough. So I just made it a 30-inch wing wall on this side and then just flipped it on the center line to find out where it is on this side. Um, Doing this would uh, mean that you wouldn't have to, putting this wall in with the pallet would mean that you would not have to raise the height of this pilaster. This one you could if you wanted. Um, I'm not exactly sure about that. I think you just paint this a warm gray that goes with um, these woods, these flavors. Um, so just paint that a solid color. Um, this, I think, since the side of this is plywood, it looks like it's decent plywood. It seems like that would be paintable. I don't know. Um, I'm just thinking of just making this out of plywood too, just covering this with plywood instead of having all that. Like I said, your eye I think is going to need some break from all of the busyness of the pallet wood on this side. I think to have a clean break and instead of creating a bunch of horizontals or verticals with more like shiplap you mentioned, I think just picking up even on the plywood to wrap a 2x10 wall on this side and same on this side. And then if you wanted to do those iron corners or whatever, that might be all right. Currently, I don't have that iron picking up anywhere else. I would tend to think you should just pick up the 1x4 trim wood that you have on, or whatever this is, 1x3 or 1x4, that you're kind of outlining this in. You could maybe do that instead on these corners, just to simplify. So that's what you're looking at here. What else did I want to say? You mentioned a barn door from the opposite side, from the storage side over here. This is just a fridge if you find one of those Coke fridges or whatever. So again, I'm looking for like symmetry and whatnot, and trying to use the pilasters that are here. I don't know exactly where your furnace is located or where your stairs are located. This is all a little bit guesswork, as is. This is that tank that you got down there, whatever that is. Your well, is it your well tank, or I don't know what it is. Anyway, this thing here. But I was thinking if you framed in a closet and just put great big doors, like 6-foot doors for access into to your furnace for servicing, and or you could access it from your weight room side. I think that would give you enough room. If you wanted, you could probably just put a door right here as well. To, if there was something on the end of that that you needed to service or whatever. But you could pick up on your shiplap maybe at this end, just in this. See, I've created, again, here's your two pilasters. I created a center line that the ping pong table is aligned on, and I just flipped. Well, if I flip this line on the center of the pilasters, which is here. Oops, I'm sorry. Going bonkers here. I meant to do this. This is where the center line would be. So in essence, this would actually be pushed back to here, but I thought that that would be not big enough for your furnace closet. It actually probably would be plenty for your furnace closet, but I just don't know how much space you're going to have down here. So I don't think it has to be perfectly symmetrical, but anyway, I created a wide opening down here too, just so that it's more of an entrance into the basement and maybe a little bit more defined. This could be a closet either for games or for party supplies, cups and dishes and whatever she might have for that kind of thing. Between these two pilasters, it's just an 18-inch shelf that you could mount with some brackets. That kind of industrial look that you like, you could pick up on that with brackets, with the lights, with trim, or whatever. I'm thinking of, what if you just painted all of these rafters black? Like they do at Chipotle or whatever, or sprayed it all black. I think that would work. Instead of covering all this, you don't need any sound deadening out here, and sound isn't really an issue down here. It would just be in the movie room. You could maybe just do something with sound there. But anyway, just a thought. If you wanted to, let's see, what else was I going to say? Was thinking either a barn door or a pocket door here for into your weight room, just to visually close that off. So anyway, I don't know what if you had other ideas that you wanted to try to fit like I had been working with a bar idea, or at least a food staging area that was that was and a different location. Anyway, in this scenario, I got a big sectional and a little either bar height table with two stools, or just like a little a short cafe table. And then this you had talked about a bar length higher table with some stools at it and just a coffee table there. But some of the other arrangements would be this, just a love seat and a couch with a end table and a coffee table and a shorter bar. And then if you had theater seats, you could do maybe up to 8 seats with a long bar table behind, or yeah, a long table surface behind it. So that's it. So I'm thinking that if you gave me some of these exact measurements, that I'd be able to kind of place where exactly your stairs are and where this closet needs to be. And, you know, if I have any of this business off at all, I can get all that and make it look a little bit more accurate. If I had the measurements, it would not take me long at all. And then we could just talk about what you think. All right. Bye.